Music priests. The music priests are the ones we normally call the worship leaders. I'm calling them music priests. So a priest is someone who has access to God's presence. A priest is somebody who has access to God's presence. Again, if you refer to the Old Testament, you see that people would come to the temple when they had to do some spiritual business. They would seek out the priest, give them their offering, maybe say lamb, or chicken, a goat, whatever it is, and then to be the priest to do the business for them. Sacrifice, make the burnt offering, sin offering, and all the offerings. They couldn't do it themselves. Why? Because they didn't have access to God. You wanted to dedicate your child or your business, your house, you'd have to go to the temple and get the priest. Why? Because it's the priest who had access to God. Okay. And so we're saying that a priest is someone who has access to God's presence. And that is why in Hebrews, as we read earlier, it talks about how we should enter the Holy of Holies with confidence, because we don't just have access to the temple, we have access to the Holy of Holies, the most holy place, by the blood of Jesus. So worship is about direct ministering to God, focusing on offering joy and devotion to Him. Yeah. Worship is about direct ministering to God, focusing on offering joy and devotion to Him. You want to bring God joy. You want to touch His soul with your worship. Part of the reason why God gave us a free will is for worship, so that you can choose to spend time and worship Him. That's why He didn't make us robots. Because a robot, you can program it every day at 6 o'clock a.m. up to 6:45, sing 10 songs of worship. Enter. God, we worship, we give you praise and glory in Jesus' name, amen. He said, no. I want them to choose out of their own free will that they want to worship me. That's part of why God gave you free will, so that you can worship Him. And so I say that worship is about direct ministering to God, focusing on offering joy and devotion to Him. How can I bring God joy? How can I bring Him pleasure? My devotion is to Him. Remember when we're talking about the parts of a man and the spirit? We said you have the part in your spirit called the devotion, or the communion, or the fellowship. That's the part of your spirit that worships God, that connects with God. And God put it there for that very reason. So this part is the one they will use to worship me. That's the part in me that longs to connect with the higher spirit. That higher spirit is supposed to be Him. And so a music priest is first a priest and then a musician. You're first a priest, then a musician. When I say music priest, you can understand worship leader if you want. You're first a priest and then a musician. That's how your music is going to minister priesthood, or that's how you're going to administer priesthood, through your music. Just like our teaching priest is first a priest and then a teacher. A music priest should first have an active priesthood with an active altar before they attempt to lead others in worship on stage. A music priest should first have an active priesthood with an active altar before they attempt to lead others in worship. Because the worship, what we call the worship ministry, is not about the music. Music is a conduit, it's a channel, it's a medium. But the real business behind it is priesthood. I was telling the worship team the other day that the way I define worship ministry is that before you come here on stage to lead us, first go and locate God's bedroom at home. Look for it. When you find God's bedroom, the whole of that most secret place with God, then you come here and tell us, guys, I know where God's bedroom is. Come and just follow me. And you take us there. That's how I define worship ministry. So if you don't know where God's bedroom is, where are you going to take us? You might take us to the most outer courts. The outermost, most outer, instead of the Holy of Holies. And so as a worship minister, first find God. Then when you come to lead the people in worship, because you already have something with God, God will respond to you. And then the people will benefit because of what you have with God. That's the difference. That's why you see some ministers, guy hits the stage and atmosphere changes. What has changed? Still the same congregation. What has changed? The priest. He has come fresh from the Holy of Holies. And so we're saying that a music minister is first a priest and then a musician. Music ministers to the soul. Worship ministers to the spirit. And so if you don't have the spiritual element, it will just be music. And like I said last time, music is emotional. You can sing in the flesh and make people cry. Why? Because music is emotional. I tell you about my brother. We listen to Boys to Men and cry. Boys to Men. Because music is emotional. Music knows how to touch the emotions of people. And so we need to be sensitive and say, is this one crying because of the sweet voice or because of the spirit? And so if you're going to be a music priest, exercise priesthood first. When we were still the other side, I successfully got beef with some people. They would come and say, Somba, I would like to be part of the worship team. Ah, you're very welcome. Very welcome. But I want to see you on the altar first. They don't come back. I know you can sing, yes, but can you pray? I know you have a good voice, yes, but can you pray? Because for a priest, your altar powers everything. And so if you're called to be a music priest, your altar should power your music here. So some people are offended. I said, it's okay. I am more interested in us connecting with God and us sounding good. Many people can sound good. Many. But will they take us to God's bedroom? Or they'll take us to the rubbish pit? So I was challenging our team the other day. I said, guys, let's labor. Let's labor. Take some time at home, even before you come here. Find your time with God. Worship Him. Have that thing with Him. So that when you come here, we shall ride on that. That's what it means to lead the congregation in worship. We're following you. I was listening to an interview of Theophilus some time back, and I was saying, someone asked him, what's your secret? Why are ministrations always on fire? They're the same everywhere you go. Why? It's like, let me have one secret. What I do on stage is what I do in my bedroom. No difference. When I come on stage, I forget about you guys. I look for God the same way I looked for Him in the bedroom. So if in my bedroom he came, I'll do it the same here. And he'll come down. Then everybody else benefits from that. Okay. That is priesthood. That is priesthood. Now you guys might say I'm just talking my own thing, so let's read some scriptures. 2 Chronicles 5, 11 to 14. 2 Chronicles 5, 11 to 14. And it came to pass, when the priests were come out of the holy place. You're still looking for it? Okay, let me give you some time to look for it, because I want us to read it together. 2 Chronicles 5, 11 to 14. Are we there? And it came to pass, when the priests were come out of where? Of God's bedroom. For all the priests that were present were sanctified. That's another point I'll talk about later. For all the priests that were present were sanctified and did not then wait by course. Also the Levites, which were the singers, all of them of Asaph, of Heman, of Jeduthun, with their sons and their brethren, being arrayed in white linen, having cymbals and psalteries and harps, stood at the east end of the altar, and with them 120 priests sounding with trumpets. In the KJV, all that is in brackets. Is it the same thing with yours? Okay. So let's first pretend we haven't seen the brackets. Okay? And it came to pass, when the priests were came out of the holy place, jump to verse 13, it came even to pass, as the trumpeters and singers were as one, to make one sound to be heard in praising and thanking the Lord. And when they lifted up their voice with the trumpets and cymbals and instruments of music, and praised the Lord, saying, For he is good, for his mercy endureth forever, that then the house was filled with a cloud, even the house of the Lord, so that the priests could not stand to minister by reason of the cloud, for the glory of the Lord had filled the house of God. See that worship service there? The glory of God filled the house of God. Where did it start? With the priests coming out of the holy place. So if they didn't come from the holy place, if they went straight, I don't think the cloud would have descended. Okay. So it started with them coming out of the holy place. And then it says sanctified. For all the priests that were present were sanctified. So there is a sanctification in your priesthood before you can call down glory. Sanctification means consecration, means set apart. You put yourself different from the rest. You allow yourself. Okay. And so all the priests that were present were sanctified, and they have come to the holy place. Meaning your lifestyle matters. Your lifestyle matters. Now I know it might think like I'm addressing the worship team members. No, I'm talking to all of us. Because some of you lead worship at your workplaces. You lead worship at work. So in that instance, you're a music priest. In your family altar. So I'm not talking to worship team members only. I'm talking to all of us. Maybe even next week you might be here also as a worship team member. So your lifestyle matters. You have to be sanctified. I've had many cases where worship team members come and lead worship on service on Sunday morning. after sleeping in the bar on Saturday night. But they have good voices. Very skilled. And so since the cloud is not coming, smoke machine is there. Buza buza with the cloud. I have no beef with smoke machines. I have no issue with smoke machines. Maybe one day we shall get ours here also. So there's an artificial cloud that comes. I'm just joking. I'm kidding. If the Lord moves you to sponsor a smoke machine, please, we shall receive it. I'm just joking. But the point here is the vessel that is attempting to call the cloud down matters. Okay. It matters. And worship leaders are a target for the enemy because of that very reason. Because when you're going to a worship session, people open up. Open up their spirits, open up their souls. And so they're very vulnerable at that point. And so it matters what spirit is being transmitted at that time. It matters. And so the enemy, what will do, will corrupt the worship team members, go sleep, whatever, sleep with anybody, then go and lead worship. At that vulnerable point when people have opened up their spirits, it's not God that's being transmitted, it's something else. That's why the Bible is saying here that, and it came to pass when the priests came out of the holy place, for all the priests that were present were sanctified and did not then wait by course. If you read the schedule of the priests, they had courses. They had a timetable. 2 priests every month. Serve 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, another person comes. You serve. So before your course, you have to go and sanctify yourself. Then you can go and start serving. Sanctification means, of course, physically, emotionally, everything. First, forget about your wife, your children. This is my course of 2 weeks. I sanctify myself to go and serve, minister to God. And so here it is saying that because for all the priests that were present were sanctified already, they did not then have to wait by course, because normally they would sanctify themselves when it's time for their course. So that means that they were already in a certain state of sanctification before they began to lead praise and worship. And so God first checked them and said, okay, all of them are sanctified, no issue whatsoever. Let me come down in glory. As a music priest, the essence of your ministry is not in your music skills, but in your priesthood. As a music priest, the essence of your ministry is not in your music skills, but in your priesthood. Now, this does not mean that music skills are not important. No. They are very important. Very important. Okay. I was telling the worship team guys the other day that we should take time and sharpen our skills, voices, they do all the drills. Very important. Okay. I'm not saying it's not important. No. What I'm saying is that the essence is in your priesthood. Because the music skills will help the congregation connect without complaining. But your priesthood is what will bring God down. So bring God down, find people connecting, then have a powerful service. Sometimes the guys will complain with the music skills like, I can't really ascend with that, they're off key or so. They're trying to open, but then the music skills are keeping them closed. But then the essence is in the priesthood. So sharpen your skills as much as you possibly can, take lessons, do all that. That's why the Bible talks of, where is it? Also the Levites, which were the singers. That means the Levites who were not singers. So even among the Levites, they had a specialized group of singers. Guys who had the good voices. Guys who can't sing, you guys will play drums. Okay, so skills are important. Where is it? Also the Levites, which were the singers, all of them, of Asaph, of Heman, Jeduthun, with their sons and their brethren, being arrayed in white linen, having cymbals and psalteries and harps. It was a full band. All of them were Levites and priests. Stood at the east end of the altar, and with them 120 priests sounding with trumpets. And it came to pass, as the trumpeters and singers were as one. So there was music harmony going on there. The trumpets and the singers were as one. So there was harmony, there was music. Same keys, same notes, same everything. So I'm not saying that music skills are useless, no. But the essence that brings glory down is the priesthood. That's why I'm calling them music priests, so that we can get the emphasis. You're a priest, your stream is music. You're a priest, your stream is teaching. We are all priests first. And we're going to pray that the Lord will make clear your stream. Some of us will receive new streams or upgraded streams, but we're all priests first. Amos 5, verse 22 to 24. Amos 5, verse 22 to 24. Amos 5, 22 to 24. Though ye offer me burnt offerings, this is God complaining. In the Old Testament, guys used to make God complain a lot. Though ye offer me burnt offerings and your meat offerings, I will not accept them. Neither will I regard the peace offerings of your fat beasts. Take thou away from me the noise of thy songs, for I will not hear the melody of thy viols. But let judgment run down as waters, and righteousness as a mighty stream. So God is saying, you bring offerings, I'm not interested. You're trying to sing to me songs I don't want. Nice melodies I don't want. I'm interested in judgment, in equity, in righteousness. That's what moves me. And so first practice the righteousness, then bring your songs. Because God accepts the giver first before the gift. You bring the gift when the giver is off, it's a waste of time. But let judgment run down as waters, and righteousness as a mighty stream. So this is an emphasis on consecration, an emphasis on holiness for all of us as priests. Some time back, I was in charge of a team somewhere. And one of the most gifted singers there was being inconsistent. And we're preparing for a big ceremony. So we're trusting this person to be our lead vocalist. But then as we approach the date, they become inconsistent. Dodge practice. Don't communicate, don't do this, don't do that. I'll try to reach out to them. They don't take my calls. They don't return the calls. I said, okay, you know what? I know you're the most gifted, and we've been relying on you. But there's no way you're stepping on stage. And so the day came, and the person arrived in time. So I saw them arriving. I was going out somewhere, just in time to get on stage. So I left instructions. I told them, when this person comes, they're not stepping on the stage. He said, but that person's already, yes, I know. They're not stepping. So the person comes, the person receives the instructions, the person calls me. So I saw the call. I said, when I called you, you didn't pick. Also, I'm not picking. Yeah. Because it's not about skills. I don't care how gifted you are. It's not about skills. They learned their lesson that day. Right now, they're very committed. Very committed nowadays. It was a tough lesson. The team didn't sound as good as they were supposed to with that person on, but the lesson was learned very well. Sometimes you have to do that. Because it's not about this music, it's about the person. God said, take away your songs. In fact, He didn't say your songs. Take away the noise of those songs. There's a place where your music becomes noise. So when you sing to God, is He hearing melody or noise? What determines whether it's noise or melody is your life, your heart, your consecration. He told Cain, if you do well, won't your offering be accepted? If you do well, then I'll accept the offering. But if you don't do well, there's no way I'm taking your offering. Because God accepts the giver first before the gift. And so for all of us, not only the worship team leaders, all of us, your priesthood should power your stream. Your priesthood should power your ministry. Your priesthood should power whatever it is. Some of us have been to Makodi. The first time I went there, I was challenged by their ushers. They are in their positions, ushering, but in tongues. So even the ushering is powered by prayer. You come, they smile, welcome. The whole. So no one doesn't pray. No one. So after 40 days, I expect to see people like this. Hey. Even your ushering ministry should be powered by prayer. Even the people that clean the toilets are intercessors. Ministry. That's why I say don't just look at the teaching priest. Any ministry. Priest first. Priest first. Because Satan is not sleeping. These priests are very active. Very active. The one angle they might have to attack the church might be in the toilet. That's the one avenue they might see. So even the person that cleans the toilet has to be an intercessor. Block all the possible avenues. So in Amos there we see God rejecting the offerings of the priests because of their lifestyle. Now the songs have become noise. And he's saying, first fix your life. Let judgment run down as waters, and righteousness as a mighty stream. Then I'll now accept your worship, your songs. Okay, lastly, I said this is not conclusive. I'm just trying to open you to streams so that you can go and add on to this. Last one are the warrior priests. Warrior